All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the WCA 2016. This is going to be an awesome best of three matchup between TNC Pro Team and MVP Phoenix. Very excited to bring you here the English coverage today on Hitbox here from the UCC League. And I'm going to be your caster, Annie, aka Android, and I'm not alone. I am being joined by my wonderful co-caster, Sindar. How's it going, man?
It's going fantastic. It's real early in the morning where I am, but I am just so pumped to see these two teams play. Always slugfest when MVP Phoenix is up against TNC, and always a good time. Lots of run at you kind of Dota. It's my favorite. I
All right, and we're starting things out with some crazy picks here. Already, Earth Spirit, Axe, Lich, and Alk, some of the biggest heroes in this meta. Earth Spirit obviously will be a nice little helper rotating around. Could spend a lot of time in the mid lane. Could even be a dual mid here if they're looking for something like a Mirana to go ahead and set up those arrows. And Axe as well should be a nice frontliner, but he does fall off pretty late in the game, whereas Alchemist, he scales very nicely until 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with the Spirit Act dual pickup MVP, it looks like the plan is going to be run at TNC and don't stop running at them until they're dead. And Alchemist, I mean, he does farm incredibly quickly, but he's vulnerable to ganks in lane. Earth Spirit, a great hero to go on him as well. If he doesn't have a lot of support in lane, then he can get crushed. If he gets crushed, he always can come back, but is going to make lots of space for the rest of MVP's team to do what they want across the map, take towers, and deny him farming space.
Yeah, absolutely here. So now going in, we still have no mid laner picked up for MVP Phoenix, which, you don't expect for the first two picks. You got to grab up those much needed banned out heroes. What do you think they're going to throw in the mid lane? What goes well up against the Alchemist? What combos well with the Axe and the Earth Spirit? Are they going to go for a Mirana if they can get it, or do they have other plans in mind?
I'm not sure they play a lot of Mirana, honestly. As far as mid lane heroes go, they've actually been running a decent amount of core Venomancer.
Oh,
And
I'm
that is a
so
hero
excited.
can be run in the mid. It's a bit risky because the hero is cheap. But if they pull it out, it could be really entertaining, especially with an Earth Spirit. I mean, that's just cancer.
Absolutely. And I mean, you add that to an already beefy lineup, they're just going to charge in and go at you with no remorse. So we'll see what they're going to grab up here. Again, there are still three picks on the field, so lots of room for upsets. They're picking up the Phoenix, which I love. Sunray is a absurdly good spell, fantastic at healing up the team, especially Axe, who's going to be jumping into the front lines, and can be used very nicely offensively. And that percent-based damage will be fantastic against Alchemist once he starts to get big and beefy in the late game.
Yeah, it's just also such a nice combo with Axe because Axe gets a multi-hero call and you drop the egg next to it. That's a few seconds where no one can hit the egg. It gives it that much more of a chance to go off, explode. And of course, you've got Earth Spirit with all of his magic damage into the fray. Also, already looking like a real scary team fight lineup coming up from MVP. And TNC respond with the Lion. So potentially Hex the Phoenix, stop him from getting that egg off. If can control him up, but an immediate response from MVP, they'll take the Juggernaut.
Yeah, they're going to go in, and that means this is going to be most likely an offlane Axe, could be a dual Axe, having a buddy in lane to help him, and MVP Phoenix, they don't have a lot of babysitters. Phoenix is great in terms of health regen, but Juggernaut may struggle with mana. Usually when Jug is picked up, you see someone that picks up Arcane Boots typically. A CM might be nice, but he's going to be very much on his own, and I hope he gets what he needs to be sustainable in lane.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix will be a babysitter, and honestly, I think the plan for Phoenix is to pressure mid hard enough that no one can really do too much to the Juggernaut in the safe lane. If all of the TNC eggs are in the Alchemist basket, so to speak, then I feel like the supports on TNC are going to have to spend a lot of time in the lane babysitting the Alk, and I don't think there's a hero that you can pick up for the off lane, apart from maybe Darkseer, who is banned, who can really suppress the Jug in lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see here, because Juggernaut does come online very early, and what I'm seeing out of Phoenix is a pretty oriented, their draft is going to peak around 20-25 minutes as soon as Jug gets that first big item. Axe is going to have a Blink Blade Mail, he's going to jump in, try to go for kills on Lion and Lich while he still can, and, if they get a lot of successful pickoffs, MVP will be snowballing, no problem, but TNC, if they manage to play this very, very safe in the early game, then they completely own the late game.
Absolutely, and it's a little scary for TNC to be forced into this situation where you know that there's so much damage potential in these fights, but can dodge. Uh, the nice thing for them is that the pressure is all on MVP to be making the actions, to be making the play. If they screw up some of those moves, you get one or two failed smoke and you find your timings. And like you said, this Alk is going to be out of control. And with the puck for control as well, their team fight isn't horrible either. So TNC definitely have what it takes to step up against MVP if the game goes longer than 25-30 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely worry for MVP, and so I guess they're just going to go all full-out death ball early game, and that means for their mid laner, who are they looking to pick up? Are we going to see a death prophet for MVP?
A death prophet, I mean, it's nice combined with the rest of their team because they do really decent pushing power. We're not healing ward, and with the pickup potential they've got, a death prophet would be really nice because right now they don't have much structures if they do win a fight. But it's also a hero that, you know, can have a good laning stage, but is also very vulnerable to ganks. And if the Death Prophet is from behind, or is playing from behind rather, then she doesn't have great catch-up. If she falls behind, she's liable to stay behind. And
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Last ban out against TNC is a clockwork, because I think MVP are feeling that counter initiation. They don't want to get caught out. They don't want to get punished for their positioning, because Axe, Earth Spirit, Phoenix, all heroes that very much rely on getting the jump on you. If they are jumped on themselves, not as strong, not as beefy. So TNC, they're looking for positioning tools. They already picked up the puck. They have the Earth Spike of the Lion, and, well, Viper as the final pick. Not what I would have expected, but I think it might be that damage spray that TNC need in the early game to get themselves online in the late game.
yeah, so it looks like it may be an Alchemist safe lane, and I really like that choice. They understand what MVP is going for here, and they decide that if they could just pressure early, have that nice tanky mid laner with the Viper who's not as vulnerable to tanks, then they can just rely on the Alch mid lane, and it won't matter if the Viper falls off past 30 minutes, as he is liable to do. Does that make it an off-lane puck, do you think?
Honestly, yeah, it could be. It could be helped out by the Lich. Lich is going to be great here with that ice armor, making everyone a little bit tanky if Axe calls them, if Juggernaut starts slapping on them. MVP, they do have one chance to respond to this Viper, so they're going to want to pick up someone with a decent amount of armor, with a decent amount of dodge, or just straight into a Dusa. You know, that works too.
Well, there's your late game. Okay.
Oh, God, yeah. So MVP, I really like the fact that they start strong with the Axe, the mid game is going to be all in the Juggernaut, and then late game transitions to the Dusa, so they've got this really nice power scale. The problem is, if Juggernaut gets completely shut down, then there's a huge window mid game where TNC can just run over MVP.
Absolutely, but Medusa actually, her latent power is not to be underestimated. Thanks to that Mystic Snake against mana-dependent hero like the Viper. Like, he wants to be able to orb walk with his suit, and if Medusa can drain his mana with that snake, it just does so much damage and get the bounces right. So QO should have a relatively good time with the Viper in mid. And I don't know. I think I have to give MVP the draft edge here, as with the Medusa, like, for the Alchemist late game, I think they have exactly what they need.
I accidentally all my weather effects. So first game we're going to play with a lot of Aurora map going on, but I will fix that for game 2. I apologize. And let me go ahead and slap on that HUD for you. Oh, how fancy. So one thing I do want to point out is MVP are 3 strength heroes and 2 agi heroes, and TNC have a nice balance across the board, so MVP could end up struggling with mana. Earth Spirit may end up picking up those Greaves. Phoenix doesn't typically do so. Axe, most likely going to go Tranquils, could also go Arcanes. I just worry that if MVP are taking too many full-on fights, their mana pools are going to run dead dry.
They do have a lot of HP system, though, and like you said, they can find at least 1 or 2 Arcane Boots. Potentially, you know, it might not be terrible for Axe to go them this game, but honestly, they don't really need them. Phoenix can go for Soul if she needs mana, and, you know, Jug, he can struggle a little bit, but it's not the end of the world for him as long as he manages his spells well.
Alright, so we are heading into game number 1 of a best of 3 between MVP Phoenix and the TNC Pro team here in the WCA 2016. Once again, I'm going to be your caster, Annie, aka Android, and I am being joined by Sindar. He's going to be helping me out on the analysis because I am a bit of a stranger to some Chinese Dota. We got SEA teams here, but for now we're going to have Forev on MVP going up pretty aggressively. He is holding on to a ward and could look to go for a block, but he'd have to walk into a lot of unfriendly territory.
30 seconds.
This is just so cheeky from Forev. He's like, yeah, I've got my entire team behind me, I swear. Don't check, but it's true. And just daring them to come at him.
Speaking of his entire team,
he's
looks
tanky
like
enough to get away.
yeah, his entire team will be backing him up, and that means no one going to be opting for this top rune just yet. Very neglected. A little bit of a sad spot on the map. No one loves it, but down bottom. Now, Forev might have bitten off more than he can chew. He goes in. He wants to act all tough. Will end up taking a Frost Blast from the Lich, and that's actually going to be really costly. Now, Raven is going to go through. They're going to go on to Dubu as the first target. Earth Spike connecting on 3. Fantastic play by the Lion, but Cuckoo might not be able to live through this. Febby will be the first blood as Viper spraying out those poison attacks. Now, Kyo looking to go down. Roshan will not get the deny. It's going to be massacres here near the Roche Pit. Bottom rune is so goddamn bloody. It's going to be right now a 2-for-1 trade coming out in favor of MVP, or rather TNC.
This is why I love watching these teams. It's nothing but fights, nothing but blood. Neither of them wants to back down. They're both just so eager to fight, and it's always entertaining. And it looked like it could be a little weak for TNC with that roll in from the Earth Spirit, but a little too much level 1 damage, and they do get the better end of the trade.
Who even got the runes? I can't see as there was just too much blood. I want to say Alchemist got one, because although he didn't scale Grieful's Greed.
Yeah, it just wants the safe play. With the Acid Spray, it's a little bit easier for him to stand in lane against Q, but it will be the Viper safe lane. Interesting to note. You decide to run the Alchemy, but he does have that little babysitter.
Oh, so bottom, there is going to be that rolling boulder in. Raven might be in some trouble, does have those poison attacks, can go for the slow, and even big beefy guys like the Axe and the Earth Spirit can't get it done. Meanwhile, mid, Teehee wants to go in onto QO, and he does have another point to level up pretty soon. One more creep, and he should have that level 2 for himself. Down bottom here, there's going to be an Earth Spike onto Forev. Oh god, these poison attacks do not stop. Viper is so dirty early game, and now Forev, he's going to be critting, or helixing, but cannot manage to live through this, and, well, he's going to have that one tango. He doesn't have his Tranquils just yet, needs about 400 more gold for those, and that's going to be a much-needed item in lane up against this Viper.
And I'd like to, as long as we can survive without action for a couple seconds, I'd like to draw your attention to Viper, or rather skill build. He has not gone for a single point in Corrosive Skin, so fully aggressive build coming out from him, not playing defensive at all. This could be a little bit of a surprise if you're used to the traditional way that pros build Viper, which is usually tank defensive kind of build. You can underestimate his damage if you're used to it. And now we'll report on to Cuckoo.
Cuckoo's A-okay here. Still has that Earth Spike, pretty much full mana. Does have that level 2, holding on to the second point. Could go for the mana drain if he needs more utility. He has got Hex available to himself. So we'll see what's going down there as, well, I want to go check on mid here as QO is pretty low. We've got Teehee sitting here. No points in that unstable concoction. Just going to go for that acid spray. But again, mana problems actually showing themselves on the side of TNC. Speaking of mana problems, Lich, who leveled Frostblast first, has found that level 2 for the sacrifice, so won't be too far behind. But the Phoenix sitting here ready to go with that Icarus dive into the Sunray. Maybe QO wants to go for this. Has a Mystic Snake available, is going into the mana shield. Febby wants to get the most out of this Invis rune. Will he reveal himself just yet? He's sitting here on the high ground. He wants to go. He's ready for someone to just pull that trigger, but for now, Teehee looks like he'll be backing off. And AU is here, does have that Frost Blast for the slow, so Febby may just let that Invis rune run out. In fact, that will be the play. Bird not able to find any kills just yet.
Yeah, he was looking for the right opportunity, but doesn't see it, so wisely decided not to. And it's really hard to gank a Medusa lane. She really doesn't offer a lot to a gank, than some rather low right click, but decides not to try it and doesn't want to risk his life. It's fine.
Now here, they're going to go in onto Raven down bottom. Rolling boulders off the mark. They do get the boulder smash going through, and there is going to be an Earth Spike defending. Nice double stun from Cuckoo, but Viper may still end up losing his life here. He's going to be battle hungered out. It will expire, so he's just going to go back to spraying damage on the Axe, and, you know, Viper, even with only 1 point in that Corrosive Skin, is doing a fantastic job up against Axe. You mentioned how aggressive his build is in this early game, and it's absolutely working out. Axe can't get the jump on him.
Yeah, and Axe chosen so far not to go for a point Berserker's Call. Battle Hunger can do work in lane, but against a great last hitter like Viper, you get full duration damage out on it are not great. So I really want to see him pick up a point and call. It's so crucial for them to have any kill threat in this lane.
Cuckoo actually just going in for the harass onto Dubu, but may not be successful. He could get rotated around on Axe, will come in. They're going to get the kill onto the Earth Spirit. Now mid lane, we've got Lich rotating through. Might want to go in. They're turning onto Forev now. Forev came through to try to defend his support, but may end up paying with his life. Looks like he will be speedy enough to get up to the high ground, and Raven going to be going 1v1 up against the Axe. Again, no points in that call, so not able to go in and lock him down, but maybe for the best, as Viper's Corrosive Skin could end up doing a decent amount of tick damage.
Yeah, he has gone for the second point in Battle Hunger.
Radiant's middle
So
tower is
going
under
for that
attack.
harass kind of build. And we just lost the Phoenix.
He, I believe, was
Oh,
either trying to
neutral
stack and
groups.
died, and I don't think that was intentional. But he does have a little bit of gold, or a small amount of gold, rather, so maybe he just bought out and went down like a champ.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah.
under attack.
And so far, it's a pretty good start for MVP, or for TNC rather. And it was the Earthspirit who initiated onto Cuckoo there in the river, paced with his life. And the fact that Cuckoo basically gets solo XP for that kill is really nice for him. He's now sitting at halfway to level 4. So doing just fine for himself. He's going to have a really nicely timed 6 at this rate. You compare that to Febby, who's only just 3 Phoenix.
Yeah,
And
but what does Lion
sorry.
6 really get done here? Because there's not a whole lot of super squishy targets, like maybe the Earth Spirit, but everyone else has tools to deal with that nuke. Now, Forev will be going through. We'll take an Earth Spike. There's an Icarus dive in from the Phoenix. He has the Sunray available. We'll be popping it out. Raven may end up losing his life, but wants to take one with him. We'll get the kill on the Axe first. Now, roll in from Dubu, gets the stun here onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo takes a little bit of Sunray, but will end up backing up under tower. So Viper for an Axe. Dead even trade, but overall, the Axe did fall first, so Viper gets that XP, and that's setting him halfway up to 6 here at 5 minutes in the game.
yeah, and the Viper Strike against Axe is going to be just so irritating. Kites back incredibly well and makes it really hard for him to do anything in this lane. So the fact that Viper is so far ahead of Forev in terms of XP is a bit of a problem for the Axe. They may have to just abandon this lane at some point and go jungle, or they need to rotate other supports in to give him a hand.
I mean, Axe has the tools to go just hop right into the jungle. He's got that Stout Shield and the Tranquils, but he wants to sit here because it is just a nicer chunk of XP. But again, if he goes down, Raven's going to be very well set up for this mid game.
Yeah. And the one lane we haven't really discussed at all because it's been boring is this off lane, where it's just MP and Sam H fest. This Puck in the off laner is actually the last hit leader on his team, and that could be a problem for the side of MVP. Is basically the off lane Puck getting mid lane free farm more or less, and they are
down here.
rotating in on him.
QO goes in with the snake to try to take away some of Alchemist's farm, but up top I think this could be the bigger kill as Puck may end up getting caught out here. Has the phase shift and the illusory orb, but there might just be too many bodies and too much fire going down as the fairy dragon is burning, will get stunned up. Illusory orbs down to the low ground, the Sunray not able to catch him out. Meanwhile, in the jungle we've got QO now getting rotated on by the Lich and Cuckoo, and he's gonna have that mana shield doing its work, but he's fresh out of mana now, will be taking full damage and does go down to the Lich with one final Frost Blast burst.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay on the top lane as Earthspirit did not get the silent out on Sam H, and as a result, he's more than capable of dodging gank. If they had got the silence out, then MP could have thrown the enemy slash, it would have been an easy kill. But the fact that they don't get the kill, and then they lose their mid laner.
Febby trying to regen up to the best of his ability, has that magic stick, and now, Sam H goes down, they lose the Phoenix, but Omni Slash debuted from the Juggernaut will get the kill onto the Puck, much needed kill that will set him back in terms of farm, and that will give Juggernaut a little bit of an edge here. He is our last hit leader. If we go ahead and switch over to net worth on this game of crazy kills, he's going to be second on the chart.
Bot lane, bot lane.
Oh god, bot lane, it's all going down here as Forev will end up going down again to the Viper. That's Viper's 4th kill of the game. Great job on him, and now he's going to be able to pick up his first big item. Has his power treads, has that Aquila, and he's starting to feel really, really nice. He's already level 7.
Yeah, and this is exactly what TNC wanted the Viper for this game. He's going to get a nice, good start. He's 4 kills already, doing quite well with his net worth, even with the Juggernaut. So he's able to farm, carry early, and just help his team dominate the early to mid game so that Alchemist has the space to come online, get his farm on. He's only gone for 2 points in Greed, but he'll be looking for more once he gets the armlet up. And I really like the drafting decision from them. And 7-3 score, they're really doing well in the lane. Well, got a bit of a pause. I'm never a commit to saying there's going to be no action with these two teams as they look for Sandwich, but he gets away. So, I mean, MVP, they're the team that is favored to win this matchup as far as bets goes. They've had great success this year internationally. They've been doing really well, winning We Play, winning or coming in first in, I forget what the tournament name is now.
Can't help you out, man. I've been spending my time in South America.
They came two big first place wins this year. Are on paper favored to win this, but TNC, a team they play all the time, probably one of the teams in the world that knows MVP the best. So if anyone can take them down here, it is TNC. And so far, they have read MVP's length and movements like a book, and they've capitalized on it.
We got our TI-6 courier going through. But meanwhile, on the side of MVP, there is going to be damage up top. Juggernaut has been completely left alone. He picked up an assist, but no kills, no deaths. He's just sitting back, getting farm. Will be flying himself out some goodies. That's going to be his wand and some wards. So, I mean, how much longer, if you're TNC, can you just let the Juggernaut go?
I don't think they're worried too much about it. I think the focus has to be on QO. They can deal with a Juggernaut late game. They cannot
the
deal
scan!
with Medusa.
The scan from the Radiant rather reveals that someone's here, and now Dubu is going to be in some trouble. But the Stone Gaze from the Medusa is going to be slowing him down,
TPs.
stopping this gank before it even starts. Now rolling boulder in, they will be able to catch out Cuckoo. There's a silence coming out from the puck. Reinitiate comes in, triple man Dream Coil. Juggernaut is spinning, won't have the pop from the Dream Coil. Will be able to get the kill on the Lion on the backlines. Lich gets the kill on the Dusa. Okay, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but it's going wildly south here as more and more deaths just keep racking up. Now Febby in some trouble. 1 hits, 2 hits from the Viper, triple kill for him. Now Forev goes in, gets the Battle Hunger onto Teehee, but it's not even going to matter. Forev is the only survivor on his team. It's a 2-for-4 trade. And oh man, TNC get everything they want. You talked about TNC knowing MVP better than anyone else, and that was perfect. They knew the jump point, they knew the counter initiation, and they played that near flawlessly.
Yeah, and I mean, the ball's on MVP to go into that after they know that TNC sees them coming. All the TPs were... TNC knew exactly what they were planning. The TPs were staggered, so it was kind of 1-by-1 heroes going in, and a beautiful 2-hero impale from the Lion sets that all up. And they get the puck really, really low. I mean, Sam H, he had an amazing from the up here, 1-1 and 3. He's only a few hundred off of his blank dagger as an off-laner 11 minutes. This is fantastic showing him.
Yeah, that Dream Coil was awesome there, and we know Phoenix to be this unbelievable team fight machine, can zone out with his ult, but unfortunately, just level 5.25, no Supernova for this bird just yet, and MVP, the decision to fight without that Supernova available was a bit questionable. They wanted to go in, they wanted to get the kills, and, you know, they wanted to maybe counter-initiate the fight, but may as well cut your losses at that point, because without a Supernova, you don't have a lot of tools to get TNC back.
Yeah, this is the weakness of running these two kind of both the supports on MVP spend a lot of time roaming from lane to lane, trying to get kills, trying to defend heroes. As a result, neither of them have their 6 yet. And that's going to be a problem, as both of those level 6s are very, very significant. You've got your Magnetize, you've got your Phoenix set, both incredibly important team fight spells. Without them, MVP definitely cannot take a full 5 engagement.
Alright, so top lane, we will have the pressure. QO looking to finish off this tower. Radiant do not have a Fortify to get it done, but there's going to be a Illusory Orb in from Sam H. Gets the silence. They're starting with a Chain Frost. It will be bouncing around to creeps, unfortunately. But, oh, the damage just unloaded onto QO. And that's going to be a dead Dusa. That is going to be Medusa's 4th death of the game. 0-4 and 3 on the Snake Lady. Really not a great place to be if you want to scale up well in the late game.
Yeah, she's 5th on net worth, which is a big problem. As the fact that she's so far behind means that she's going to have a harder and harder time contributing to fights, which means that MVP is going to be constantly 4v5. And, well, Sam H, that's a big pick.
Kind of. I mean, Sam H got what he wanted in the top lane anyway. He had a death timer on him, and, you know, it's going to be 30 seconds, no puck. Not really detrimental at that point.
It's more the fact that they delay his Blink Dagger back down to 1900 gold. So the longer that they can keep that off of TNC, the better. As once he has that, TNC will really be looking to take those fights.
Alright, so Teehee here, he's doing pretty well in terms of net worth, now has those 4 points in Grievel's Greed. He's at the top of the net worth chart, no surprise. He's picked up his armlet, looks like he is saving up for a Radiance and should have it very well timed. But, you know, our counter mid here on the Dusa, she's pretty dead poor, picks up a Bracer for more survivability.
Yeah, Medusa, I don't know what she gets. It looks like she may be going for a drum unless that's a casual Bracer, but so little to work with at this point, and that's a problem against the heavy burst damage. I mean, you mentioned earlier, way back, we were talking about Lion's Finger and how, you know, that burst damage against these tanky heroes not really ideal necessarily, but having that against a weak Dusa, enable them to blow through her mana shield that much faster, it's going to make a big difference that she's this far behind against the puck, against the Viper, and against that Finger.
I mean, if we're talking ultra late, like 70, 80 minutes. Dusa can outcarry an Alk, can outcarry a Viper, but the problem is getting her there. Can MVP live long enough? The kill score's already doubled up against them, and, well, it's looking pretty good as TNC. They're going to be picking up their first big Alk item mid lane. This could be big. Axe has a blink. He's looking for a jump. Could catch out the Viper, and it's a dangerous play, but they may need to go for it. They will go in, get the call. There's going to be a Sunray in the back lines. Nice silence up. The Dream Coil connects onto 2, and now Phoenix is going to be Icarus diving around. Goes for the Supernova. Will get it. Forev has a Chain Frost bouncing around for now. Everyone is still alive. Line getting low. May end up dropping, but Axe is going to be the first casualty. Puck goes down as well, so it will be a 1-for-1 trade so far. And now Phoenix goes in, wants to get more here, getting the Lich, burning down on the back lines. Looks like Lion will end up living through the Magnetize. So again, it will be a 1-for-1 trade. Lion ends up okay, and this may be a tower push for MVP, but TNC, they don't lose their Alk, they don't lose their Viper. They're still feeling A-okay. They're reinitiating here on the backlines. They may get the Lich. There will be a Sun right there to continue to burn him down. He will end up dropping, and now Viper actually goes in trying to get more harassed, but may end up giving up his life. He's just going in a little bit too deep here, maybe trying to force back the push, but I don't know if he can do it all alone. He now brings the Lion in from the high ground. Lion is still super duper low, has those Tranquils helping him out, but looks like Viper will end up losing the tower now with a return in from the Alk coming in with the unstable concoction. MVP may end up going down. Nice call from the Axe, though. Whoa, this is gonna be bad. Teehee getting super low. Even the Chemical Rage can't save him for now. Axe going through with the dunk. Will not connect because of the armlet. And now Dubu is gonna get slapped down by the Viper, but Viper is super low himself. Has to watch out here for Rev. Will end up going down without using the Culling Blade. And now we've got Dubu running for his life. Looks like Medusa is still dead for a decent amount of time. Up top, Puck was able to get the Juggernaut. Very big pick. Once again, only the sport's alive for MVP Phoenix. TNC, what looked like a lost fight, continued to go in their favor as they rotated back through and didn't give up.
Wow. Well, I mean, that just goes to show that TNC are a little too far ahead right now for MVP to take that fight. There was an amazing call from the Axe. It looked incredibly good. TNC just a little too tanky at this point. They're just a little too far ahead as far as levels go, and that means that the heroes get very low but don't die. They can turn around, re-engage with the sustain they've got thanks to the Chemical Rage. And, I mean, if they'd managed to find Alk, it would have been huge, but they don't get him. And even earlier than that, before that the tower fight happened, you saw the jump in from Axe. They find the solo call onto the Viper, but they can't burst him down. The rest of his team is there. And
speaking of burst, Huo way out of position here, is going to be stuck in that Dream Coil, has the mana shield, doing the best it can, does not have mana for the Stone Gaze. Now Huo just getting slapped down, will go down to the Viper. Mega kill streak for him. Febby next on the menu, just one more hit should do it. Now Forev goes in, gets a double man call. Dubu looking for something to capitalize on. Sam H may be the pick here, but Raven still up, still fighting on the back lines. That Viper doing so much damage now. Oh man, triple kill for the Viper. MVP. They may end up getting wiped here as the Juggernaut. He's looking for some way to get out of here. He doesn't have a TP. He's just going to try to man fight and will not be successful. Lion getting that pick, and now Viper may end up looking for more. May just show some restraint and go on the tower here, but either way, 4-man wipe onto MVP Phoenix, only trading away the Puck and the Lich. This is just going so well for TNC. At this point in the game, the Alk, he's dominating the net worth chart. Viper is next up, and Dusa just rapidly losing momentum.
Rapidly losing momentum is an understatement. I mean, she's sitting at about 1,000 gold behind the offlane Puck. She's sitting on phase keep the drones at 17.5 minutes into the game. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than this. And QO has not gone for a single point in split shot, so he does not have that farming tool. He will not be able to farm his back into this game. He's gone for a very fight-oriented build, and they are not winning the fights. 0-6-6 on this Dusa, one of his weakest showings.
Okay, here in the mid lane, Forev will get a nice call here onto the Lich, but even if he gets the kill, which looks like he will not be able to do, it's a support Lich who, you know, he's surpassing the net worth of the Earth Spirit, and he's also just helping out in these fights. Chain Frosts haven't been super on point, but the Ice Armors have been great. Throwing an Ice Armor onto that Viper makes him almost unkillable at this point. Now Sam H, invised up, there's going to be no tower to give him vision, wants to go in onto Forev, has the Dream Coil at the ready, but that's an ambitious pick if he decides to go for it. And we'll have to see here as he does try to go, and Axe gets the blink away. A little bit of lag here coming out. Don't know if that's me or the server, but either way, Dubu maybe scouted out here up top. That's a pick that Puck can get. We'll maybe start out with that Dream Coil. Could they going through, has the rest of TNC at his back, and that's going to be the start of it. They go in with the Dream Coil, they get the Winning Rift. There's going to be a sentry put down from Dubu, but one Chain Frost means that guy just gets sniped.
That's some solid commitment. And I mean, I don't think I've seen a single Dream Coil this game that has not been followed up by Rust. That saving them specifically for that, and worked out really well for them so far. As those two spells together, it's really terrifying. You're trying to decide, okay, do I run away? How far away can I run to dodge the Chain Frost without breaking the coil? It really throws your mind into a disarray. You don't have time to focus on the heroes that are slowly beating you down.
Yeah, here, look at item pickups. Lion has found his Blink Dagger on top of his Tranquils and the Magic Wands and a bunch of wards, so he is now the richest support on the map with a net worth of almost 4k, which, not too bad here, but if we check out Alchemist, quadrupling him up at over 16k, he's now picked up his Manta on top of his Armlet and his Boots of Travels and his Radiance. This guy is, I mean, obviously not 6-slotted because he's got a lot of improvement, but he has his full toolkit at the ready. And there will be a full smoke up aside from the Dusa on the side of MVP. They will catch out the Lion. Lion's able to blink away. Reaction time. Holy hell. Scouts out the movement. They're able to rotate everyone back. Teehee gets that warning sign from his team that it may be time to run away. He does have those travels in 10 seconds. Can he make sure to be safe underneath the tower? MVP are hungry. They desperately want to find him, but they will not be successful this time. He's got that TP out if he needs it, but there's actually going to be a counter smoke up on TNC. They're looking to fight. Once again, Alchemist, he's got full health, full mana. He wants to go for something. Smoke will pop. Blink in from the Lion, gets the Hex onto MP. And now MP just going to be standing there, fished up. Forev goes for the call, but might not be able to find anything here. Phoenix doing what he can. Nice zoning egg. Will be able to get the burn damage onto Raven. Raven may end up falling. Will be the trade. Sprays out his ult before he goes down, though. MP taking off the damage for now. This is not looking so good. It's going to be an axe for a Viper. Okay, there's the Dream Coil, ripping them apart. The Alk comes through. Puck getting a kill onto the Earth Spirit. Lich following up on the Juggernaut. Alk taking out the Dusa, and now it looks like Phoenix will fall as well. It's a wipe, only losing the Viper. Obviously, you never want your position 1 core to fall, but for the entire enemy team, yeah, that's a worthwhile trade. Almost 2k gold, over 5,300 XP, going the way of TNC. Now here at 21 minutes in the game, the XP is over 10,000. The gold even more, so almost 15,000 in favor of TNC. How does MVP catch back up?
Well, it's tough, right? They've got to rely on using their teamfight ults really effectively, and they've not found a good chance to do so. We saw the B used there. It was relatively effective as it did force TNC to run away. There wasn't anything really holding them in place for the damage of the sun to come out. As a result, it's not as effective as it could be. If they find the perfect combination of Stone Gaze into Phoenix Egg into everything else, then they definitely have the tools to win a fight. And Alk is huge, but with Call, with the HP percent base damage of Sunray, with the Omni Slash, they do have the tools to take him down, but it requires perfect execution from them. And not seen that from them yet this game.
They're going to have Puck filling up his bottle with a double damage rune. Going to be a scary fairy dragon. Has that Dream Coil at the ready. Could be looking for some kills here up in the Dire Jungle. But for now, I think TNC are very content to sit back. They're enjoying their power spike. The Alchemist will continue to hold strong onto that net worth lead. Way more than doubling up the Juggernaut. And, well, that's going to be, again, continuing for the next 20 or so minutes. Unless MVP have a series of extraordinary team fights. And well, up top, Alk is chabeling up the Unstable Concoction. Will connect onto Dusa. She's got the mana shield, but not for long. Look at that mana just get shunked down. Now the Sunray from the Phoenix trying to keep him alive, but the burn damage from the Alchemist will be enough to get him a killing spree on the Dusa. Dusa is now 1, 8, and 6. It seems like at this point she's dead weight for her team, and MVP, they've got to look for their carry potential elsewhere. Juggernaut is picking up the Yasha, so could go for the SNY farming, could go straight into Manta. He's picked up the Diffusal, which I really do like the Diffusal pick. I think that's going to be fantastic for taking off the Alk stun, for getting away from any sort of, you know, follow-up damage, and being able to go in and use it aggressively if they do catch a window for that.
Yeah, and I mean, Duo has been called repeatedly a feast or famine mid laner. He either does incredibly well for his team or just seems to fall apart. And unfortunately for them, QO prefers those kind of mobile, active heroes, can take control of a game, really snowball control. He likes the Slark, he likes...
Oh, I gotta cut you off there as Axe just gets handled by TNC. They go in, they do unload the Lion ultimate, which is kind of big at this point. Lion does not have that Aghanim Scepters with a long cooldown, but you've got Alchemist just going in, ripping apart these tier 3 towers like it's absolutely nothing, and you've got MP on this jug trying to do his best to go in and cut the wave, but at this point all of Dire's attention is focused on this mid lane pushing, and down bottom you still got Elk farming, gets the tower deny. He has a completed Octarine for God's sakes at 23 minutes on top of 4 other items. This guy's absurdly farmed. He's 21,000 net worth at 24 minutes in the game. He's almost 1,000 GPM. We're not even at late game yet.
Yeah, and this is them just playing their draft exactly as they wanted to, perfectly. You had the Lich picked up first to secure him the mid lane with those denies.
Radiant get a scan revealed onto Febby, so they do scout out a smoke gank. They don't know exactly where it's headed. They know it's probably somewhere mid, probably going towards the river, but that does give a window for MVP to push in this lane. They know someone was revealed in the secret shop, and then they walked out.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's no way that MVP in this tower. We'll just give it up as unless they can make some kind of sneaky backstab play. There is only one Radiant Ward in the area, above the Roche pit, though they've not been spotted just yet.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, so they're going through. I mean, Alk just rips apart the tower. There's no contest for that. On the backlines, you've got a solo Dusa. Oh, QO Hun, what are you doing? Takes an unstable concoction. Mana getting burned up. The mana shield won't help you for long. He's silenced. He can't do much of anything. His team is nowhere to be found. It's going to be a dominating streak from the Alchemist 4-0-12. He's feeling unreal in terms of net worth. Now, mid lane, there might be some sort of tower trade as MP. He's sitting here behind the tower. Will be able to TP out as he is magic mean, and they're not going to pop anything for it. But on the backlines, they get the Dream Coil onto Dubu. It's just an Earth Spirit, but why not rake in the extra kill? Puck showing off that Dagon too, and we'll be able to secure a killing spree off the back of that. So MVP, it seems like they're grasping at straws. They're throwing their Dusa in the Radiant jungle with very little vision aside from these wards. They don't know where the Radiant heroes are, and then they lose to in the mid. Oh god, it's tough if you're MVP.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at the mid tier 3. You saw it down bottom with the Dusa. These heroes on MVP that are supposed to be incredibly tanky and hard to bring down are just paper against this TNC squad. It's almost like they're fighting a team of 5 supports at this point, and they'll get an Aegis. This three is almost, and it'll take a miracle from MVP to defend their high ground at this point.
Alright, so Roshan will end up going down again. I apologize for my weather effects. I was playing last night and forgot to turn them off. Will be fixed for game number 2, so glowy white Roshan goes down in favor of TNC, and that's going to be an Aegis on the Viper. Going to be very, very hard to kill this dragon. We haven't talked a whole lot about him since the laning stage, but he has been holding onto that helm. Did end up going in for the Manta style as opposed to the S and Y, so he's going all in. This is aggro Viper. He wants ultra utility. He wants to push, and he wants to push now. TNC, they're not messing around. They know they have a power spike, and they're gaining a ton of momentum, but they aren't leaving a whole lot of room for MVP to get back in this as they initiate onto Febby. They're dropping the Dream Coil for the Phoenix, and Phoenix is trying to kite around the best he can, but one Illusion Orb from Sam H will secure a dominating streak. That's going to be 8 kills for the Puck right now here at 26 minutes in. This guy, too, is just super, super rich for an offlane Puck. He's keeping par with what a mid Puck would have.
Yeah, exactly. And this comes down to the decision from MVP to spend so much time with their supports in the bot lane trying to sort of pressure down the Viper. But Viper, a hero who is hard to pressure in lane. I mean, he's tanky, naturally, thanks to his skills. And a lot of wasted time for this force is they hold the Puck. The Puck gets tons of XP. They don't even hold out the Viper as he's second in worth. So everything kind of fell apart in the laning stage. And now, well, things are hard. And the crazy thing is, every single one of TNC's heroes would love an Aghanim Scepter this game. So even Teehee gets himself slotted, plenty of room for his squad to grow with his gold.
I mean, who is the first Ags you give out? Do you go onto the Viper? Do you grab it onto the Puck? Do you even give it to the Lion first?
I think it's a trade-off between either the Puck or the Viper. The Puck Dream Coil just so incredibly strong. It's just, I think, 8 seconds of coil duration and then 6 seconds of stun duration if it breaks. But they don't have any magic immunity other than Juggernaut Spin on the Dire side. So maybe they give it to the Viper instead. The ability to kite both the Jug and the Axe is incredibly valuable in team fights. So could be a good choice there.
We did have a push out from MVP Phoenix. They are actually keeping this lane relatively pushed in onto the Radiant rather. But up top, you've got the Radiant ready to jump at any window onto this tier 3. MP is going to be taking up the front lines, has the Manta, has the Omni. And, well, everyone's sitting on their ultimates here, so MVP, this may be their big shot to hold their high ground as Alk just going to be plowing up, goes straight for the acid spray, straight onto the Dusa, is going to get called, but the call will end as Teehee is going to be sitting there, gets the unstable concoction onto Farev, nuked down from low ground. That's going to be a finger of death from your Lion. Now, MP looking for something here. He's got the Omni. Teehee is getting kind of low, but with the unstable, or rather the Chemical Rage, he's doing great. Phoenix going to be getting a kill onto Sam H. That's going to be a kill for Dusa, and now on the back line, there is going to be a Chain Frost bouncing. QO in some trouble, wants to get the kill onto the Lich and will be successful, but it's going to be a trade. Now QO will end up going down. Dusa has buyback, may have to spend it to go in for the Phoenix. Phoenix is able to get the egg off now. Febby back with full health, full mana, and Cuckoo is getting kind of low on the backlines. You've got Teehee going in like an animal. He's trying to regen up. The Chemical Rage will expire soon. He's got the Octarine, but may end up getting burned down here. He lives with a fraction of his health, will be able to get away okay. Mystic Snake will not bounce. They do want to turn back onto QO, but will not be able to do so this time. So TNC, I mean, I think they got a stern wake-up call that maybe they're not immortal pushing machines like they think they are.
Well, but still, it was such a costly hold. 3 buybacks forced out on all of your cores for MVP, and only lose a 5-position support and an offlaner for that. I mean, worth it for TNC every time, even though they don't take down the tier 3. So many resources committed from MVP, and I mean, if the Dusa wanted a chance of getting back into this game, wasting gold on buyback was not part of that plan, as she is now sitting at a third of the Alchemist's net worth. This is absurd.
Yeah, I mean, this game has to go to like 90 minutes if she wants to get back online. Now, Lion just kind of solo walking in will pick up the rest of Dusa's creeps. We see Dusa walking back from a Lion rotation at 30 minutes in the game. That is exact opposite of what you want out of this hard carry QO hero. And, I mean, Dusa has really great items if we're 15 minutes in the game. I mean, she's just grasping at nothing. The buyback was very expensive. I want to say that was about 1,800, 1,700 gold right out of her pocket, so her item will be delayed. She's got nice stats, stepping stones with the Aquila and the drum, but she needs her utility. I mean, she's got the Yasha, she's got the Maelstrom to keep the lanes pushed out, but, I mean, compare that to the Viper and it's absurd. Compare that to the Elk and you are in 2 different leagues.
Yeah, and it's really interesting from Bill that he's chosen to go for very aggressive items. He's got the Maelstrom, the Yasha, so not really building heavy on any of the stats, not trying to tank himself up at all, just looking for as much damage as he can pump out. And, you know, against Fairy Dragon with Dagon level 4 and a level 2 Finger of Death from the Lock, I'm not sure that's the play here. He just needs some more HP. He needs to be able to survive and throw out his damage.
Dusa has no TP. She's really focused on these ancients. She's got one in her stash, but it's going to come at the cost of her tier 3 tower here as we've got Alk wailing away at it. Alk is still sitting very nice. It's going to be a nice scan revealing everyone sitting on the low ground, but not much of a surprise if you're MVP. Now they are going to go onto Forev. Forev will just be getting slapped back by those illusions, and now it looks like Cuckoo will be silenced up. That could be the window of initiation they're going in for. They get the Mystic Snake off Cuckoo. He is burning, but it's only a support Lion, as now everyone else will be able to turn on to QO. QO has no buyback. This could be the end. He's going to go through. Will pop that Stone Gaze, and looks like Teehee may end up channeling his stun onto himself. No, it's going to be, well, an Omni Slash going through. Buyback from the Lion immediately, and that's a super rich Lion Puck. Spraying out the damage. Nice Supernova. Will catch out Sam H. Sam H is going to go down. There's a Magnetize out from Dubu, but Dubu does end up falling on the back lines. You may have Teehee going down. Teehee does go down. Big kill for them, but Alk will end up buying back, so you've still got everyone relatively healthy on the side of TNC. Spare some buybacks, and it's only the Phoenix left defending. I think Phoenix goes down
That's
here.
game.
I think it's game, as, you know, Febby does end up going down in the fountain, and there's no buyback on the Dusa. First racks will fall, and GG will be called out in favor of TNC for game 1. What happened here, Sindar?
The laning stage happened. MVP had a plan that involved roaming the Phoenix and the Earth Spirit around. It didn't pay off for them. They didn't hold down the offlaner, they didn't hold down the safe lane keeper, and they certainly didn't hold down the mid alchemist. And, you know, after 7 or 8 minutes, they were behind in kills. Their cores were lagging behind them, and it just continued from there. You know, you've got heroes like the Axe, like the Dusa, and like the Juggernaut. These heroes all farm. And MVP were so behind at the 15 to 20 minute mark, they just had no space to get that farm. Dusa died 11 times that game. You just can't let that happen for your mid Dusa, who's supposed to be your late game hope. And I really think that this was just really smart laning drafting decisions from TNC and taking advantage of the way they know MVP like to play, punishing it. So really well drafted, really well put from them. MVP, though, they switch up the draft in game 2. I think they do definitely have the chance to bring it back.
Yeah, again, you mentioned it before, these teams know each other so well. We're going to see a very different game coming out in Game 2, coming up in just a couple of moments. Once again, this is a best of 3 in the WCA 2016 tournament. I've been your caster, Annie, aka Android. That's been Sindar. You can find him at Sindar Gaming. You can find me at Android. And we are going to be your casters for game number 2, coming up in just a couple of moments. One way you can support the stream and our casting is go ahead and just turn off your ad block for a little bit, just between series, so we can run some ads, get some revenue. That's how we get paid as casters. So again, we will be right back for game number 2 of the WCA 2016.